All right, let's dive in. My name is Blair Dorr. I'm here from Headed 2, which powers the CareerZone and CareerExplorer. Today's webinar, we're going to focus on specifically the upgrade of the CareerZone system, both in Pennsylvania and in California. And so we'll be walking through some of the features and benefits of doing that. Right now on the screen, what you should be able to see is our marketing homepage for the CareerExplorer, which goes through some of the benefits. And it's also pretty useful to point out that this page accesses pricing and also has brochures connected to it as well if you need to print things out and show to administrators, etc. So headed2.com is definitely a site you might want to bookmark. And without further ado, though, we'll jump into today's topics. First thing we want to talk about is that there is a CareerZone in Pennsylvania as well as in California. So we're going to be actually toggling between the two during today's upgrade conversation. But let's start inside of the California CareerZone. The California CareerZone has been active in the state of California for just about 15 years, a little more actually. So we're sort of tried and true. We're used in over 90% of the districts in the state and have been a very sort of reliable and excellent career platform for students and teachers around California. Similarly, Pennsylvania got started just soon after California got started with their system. Both systems are sponsored by the Departments of Education in California and Pennsylvania, respectively. There are a number of free features available to everyone within these systems, but the upgrade specifically allows you to do things like group students according to various cohorts, like CTE or special education. It allows you to access features like single sign-on. It allows you to get file management and various things. So we're going to talk about that and put it into some context for you today. So if you're interested in learning more about the free site, you can go to our marketing website and find some old webinars where we actually go through more of those features, but today is going to focus on the upgrade. All right, so very first thing I want to point out here is that inside the upgrade of the system, we have the ability to connect with single sign-on. Now, this is really helpful because a question that a lot of you are going to have is, how do I get my kids in there as easily as possible? If we rely on things like usernames and passwords, which the free sites tend to, then a lot of times students will forget it and you slow down your classroom exercise by trying to recover those passwords. So having single sign-on is a really nice thing just to get your kids in there and make it as simple as possible for you to get your lessons started. Now, all of us are really focused on student outcomes and want to make sure that our students are able to succeed. But as we all know, career literacy is not necessarily a dedicated subject in school, and it's something that we're trying to work in various places. What the CareerZone system is going to do is really, from soup to nuts, give your students an idea of how to build career readiness, career literacy, and become people that can navigate their careers as they grow older. The way the system does that is by guiding them through various self-assessment activities, by giving them data on industry sectors that they might want to explore, and also allows you as educators to assign them various lessons and activities that maybe you've designed that you think will help enhance and build their career literacy. So the great thing about the CareerZone system, the thing that I think really makes us stand apart from our competitors, is the ability to both use what's here, use the lessons that are here, use the activities that are here, use everything that's already built in the system, but also for those educators who have already designed curriculum, have already thought about career literacy and already started to tackle this challenge and want to work that into what they're doing inside of the system, you can do that too. So you've got an ability to customize with the upgrade that really isn't possible in a lot of other systems. So what I've done here is I've logged in right now to actually an educator account. This is an admin account. Our admin accounts are only available to our upgrade subscribers. And what this will allow an admin to do is to see not just all the students inside an entity like a school district, but also all the educators who are in there as well. And then really importantly, it'll allow you to do things like import users and import group assignments. Okay, so that's a big difference between the free site. When you're working within the upgrade, you're going to be able to take all your district's users, pull them in the site really easily using a CSV, and also assign them to various educators so that it's already built in who's managing which student across the system, and it's really easy to do. Of course, there are manual ways to do that. We've showed it in past webinars using things like the educator code, where you would share your individual educator code with a student, and that brings them under your management. But having this bulk import capability makes it a lot easier for our educators to get all their students in the system and to make sure that they're assigned to the right educators. We take it even a step further for our larger district partners, where we'll actually connect up with a student information system. So if you've got a student information system and you're interested in us doing rostering with that student information system so that these rosters are constantly updated, students come in, come out of the district throughout the school year, we can do that. And that's something else that's really an advantage of what you're doing within the career zone. So of course, getting back to the homepage, one of the big questions and challenges we get is, well, how is the system going to guide my kids on their career journey, and how's it going to get them started? What's the whole idea here? And the core idea of the CareerZone and CareerExplorer is to begin with these self-guided activities. We've got modules around financial literacy, which is make money choices, discovering an individual's interests and how those connect to the world of work, college preferences, work importance, skills, and then of course there's job application tools as well, things like resumes, cover letters, and reference lists. So there are a number of activities that you can use inside the system in a classroom setting. You can also integrate these activities into lessons that you may assign. And you'll find for upgrade subscribers that many of these activities are actually already built into our pre-existing lessons, which our subscribers have access to. So I'll show you a little bit about that in a moment. So from this page, something else that your students can do is once they've gone through that self-assessment phase, they're able to go into explore industry sectors and start to really do some deep research on the clusters and sectors that are available, and get an idea of, okay, if I want to get into business and finance, what's happening here in my region, in my state? So in this case, we're in California. So you can see the total annual openings in California are 580,000. Recent graduates is lower than that, and then a nice average wage. So just from that top lane data that we provide, the student knows, hey, look, there's quite a bit of demand in this sector. There aren't as many graduates, so hey, I might have a good chance of getting a job here. And once you go down from that higher level data, you can go into the occupations that are the highest paying, the fastest growing, the most employed. And one of the cool things that you can do here is you can compare various occupations just by checking the boxes and clicking compare selected. So your students are able to narrow down their different occupation interests and then actually go and look at an individual occupation and go deep there. So here we're looking at general and operation managers. You can see an average salary in the state of California. You can compare this to other states if you want. You can go into the media gallery. If there's a video available, you can watch the video. You can learn about the job, okay? So there's a ton that you can do from this page. We're going to get to this whole get experience section, but that's another really critical piece of this upgrade. When you're an upgrade subscriber to the Career Zone, you're actually able to import local opportunities for your students, whether those are CTE students or beyond, which would allow to connect them to internships, mentorships, summer jobs, things that are specific to your area, your kids. You can pull them right in and link them up to these various occupation profiles to help the students understand, hey, I might actually be able to get started in building my experience and doing so with a local company or organization. This is something that is not available inside the free site. You can only do this with the paid upgrade. It's a great feature and it's something to consider. And again, we'll go a little deeper into that in a bit. Okay, so those are really the main things that the student can do. They can either do activities or they can really do big research into what's happening. Throughout their journey inside of the Career Zone, they're going to be able to do things like write journals. They're going to be able to give ratings to various occupations, which let the system know, hey, I like this. I'm interested in business and finance. I'm interested in these occupations. Show me more things like that. So the system gets smarter as students use it. Another thing that students can do inside of these upgrade is build their course plans. So in California in specific, we've got a number of courses pulled in from the state just to give sort of a general idea of the types of courses that you might sign up for. For example, so if I go to English here and I click on English 9, I can find a typical English 9 course and start to do some course planning. The idea of this is that as a student is thinking about a career, especially if they're a CTE student, they're going to want to start building a course plan that drives them towards building the skills necessary to thrive in that career. And that's why we've built a course planner inside of the system and make it part of our upgrade as well, to connect up with your SIS and pull in your own courses to make this part of what the students are doing. Another thing that you can do inside of the upgrade that can be very helpful is to actually deploy surveys. If you want to begin to ask students about their more particular interests, you can assign surveys. You can actually use those surveys in the context of remote learning or in the context of work-based learning, where you might be asking them questions about their experiences and being able to gather that type of data. So when it comes to sort of the customizable aspects of the system, these are the things that you're going to really lean on with the CareerZone and CareerExplorer upgrade. I'm going to flip now to Pennsylvania, because Pennsylvania is interesting in that it has a great state standard with the career readiness indicator. And what they're trying to do in Pennsylvania is make sure that students, starting actually in grade 3, are collecting evidence, if you will, or career artifacts that reflect that they've been building this career literacy throughout their journey throughout the schools in Pennsylvania. So from grade 3 on, each year, students are required to do some learning in the career literacy space, and then also their educators are required to save and report on the evidence that those students generate. This is actually asking a lot, and we want to make sure that our educators in Pennsylvania know that this system is here to support you. And the way it's here to support you is with our lessons. So this is something that is part of our upgrade, is that when we go to lessons inside the upgrade, you'll see that there are a number of pre-populated lessons inside the career zones, both in California and in Pennsylvania, that our upgrade subscribers have access to. The great thing is when you're in PA, you'll be able to see the exact standard that lesson aligns to. And that goes to the career readiness indicators requirements, namely that you be able to indicate for any given piece of career evidence what standard that evidence is aligned to. So we're helping you out with that by telling you what standard it's aligned to. And of course, if you want to go deeper, say into this entrepreneur's is the entrepreneur's life right for me lesson, you can do that. You can learn about it by clicking learn more. If you want to see what the student experience is as they go through it, you'll be able to do that too by previewing the lesson. So these pre-populated lessons in Pennsylvania and California and beyond really help you if you want to make sure that your students are following a kind of curated curriculum for career literacy. And also in the end, through the completion of that lesson, generating career artifacts that you can use and report to. In Pennsylvania, it's called PIMS, just to let PIMS know that the 100% of your students have generated the required evidence, et cetera. So that's what the system is trying to do with these lessons. You'll note too that each of these lessons generates at least 2 pieces of career evidence in Pennsylvania. So if a student completes the lesson, you can feel fairly confident that 2 pieces of evidence have been generated, and you'll be able to review those artifacts to make sure that they meet your own requirements for what you need. So a really nice feature, especially where you've got a standards-based requirement as you do in Pennsylvania. But in California, where we say this is useful is honestly, if you're just kind of wrapping your head around building a career literacy curriculum and trying to figure out, well, what should my kids be doing to build this literacy? Well, these lessons are pretty good directionally in terms of what they should be doing. And they also serve as a really nice way to navigate the various features of the system. There's so much that you can do inside of the Career Zone that it can actually get a little overwhelming. And using the pre-populated lessons will allow you to kind of go through a sort of tried and true course of managing career literacy inside the system. The other thing that we really love about this lesson system is that in addition to using our pre-populated lessons, you can also generate your own lessons. So that's a very easy thing to do. If you go to lessons, you go to create a lesson and you'll follow the prompts to design your own lesson, your own curriculum inside the system. And make sure that your students are following exactly what you as an educator want them to be doing. So that's another really great thing. So just to summarize, we've covered sort of why you want single sign-on. Well, that's about getting your kids in the system. Why you want to use the Career Zone in general? Well, that's about building career literacy. And we've got those self-assessments and the data that's in Explore industry sectors or Explore clusters. We've got that there for them as well. But then finally, if you're about meeting a standard and making sure that you're actually accomplishing what you need to accomplish, or even something like an LCAP in California, which is designed at a local level, and you want to make sure that you're meeting those requirements, these lessons are a really great way to standardize a curriculum inside the system so that every student is doing the same thing and moving through. Now, the next question that we'll often get is, okay, I've got kids across my district doing various activities in the system, maybe doing various lessons within the system. Does the Career Zone and CareerExplorer allow me to run reports and see what people are doing? And the answer is absolutely, yes, we do. So from the Manage Users page, you'll see all of the students that are listed. And the default is to, for all the users in the system, run the various reports or assign the lesson or send a message. But you can also, with the upgrade, narrow it down. So that's what we're talking about here with groups. So if I take a group like group 5 here and pull that up, I'm now assigning a lesson or running a report just for this cohort. Now that can be really useful if we're talking about, say, CTE or special education, and we want to narrow down our list of students to see what that group is doing. From there, I click Run a Report, click Dashboard Report, and here I get a full overview of all of the activity in the system, who has completed what remains to be completed, etc. Okay, so there are reports that basically look at all the activities in the system. There are also reports that get more granular, like the interest profiler report. There's reports around assignments. So if I've assigned my students a particular lesson from inside the system, and I want to see, okay, who's completed this particular lesson? Well, I can pull that lesson up. I can see how many assignments I've made, how many students have completed it, how many of those lessons which have been completed I've approved. Okay, so the message here is when you're trying to meet a requirement or you're trying to accomplish a certain goal throughout the academic year, you're going to want to have a real-time reflection of who's done what, and in turn, who you might need to message to make sure that they've completed it. And the Career Zone is offering that in spades. All right, so you've got great reports that you're able to run. You can make them granular. You can even look at an individual student. If you're about to, say you're a counselor and you're about to meet with Ramon, in that case, you go to the actions button, you click View Summary Report, and now you're actually able to see the very granular data of that individual student's activity in the system, what they completed, when they completed it, what files they've saved, everything is included here, and you can print it or save it as a PDF. You have a lot of options in terms of what you might want to do. The last thing that I wanted to cover in today's conversation is about some of the customizable aspects. And we talked earlier about local opportunities and the idea of what's happening around CTE nowadays, which is partnerships with local companies and organizations where students have opportunities to do things like mentorships or job shadows or even site visits. And you want your students to have the ability to discover those opportunities. That ends up being really important to you. So what we've done here is we've created a system called the Local Opportunity System. And that's what I'm going to showcase next. If I pull up student here, let's do student number 18 and we'll sign in. What you'll see for this individual student when they get into the system is they're going to have the ability to find local opportunities. So before what was the occupation? We were in business and finance and we did an operations manager. So let's just pull up that particular occupation or one that's similar to it and take a look at it. So, all right, operations research analyst. On the right-hand side, you see this get experience window, all right? If they click on something like advisory, right, this is a set of local opportunities that are available to students that are in sort of what we call the advisory category, things like mentorships, curricular guidance, independent projects, etc. And they can see the companies that are participating, but they're not applying to an individual company. They're just applying in a general sense to this type of opportunity in this type of a sector. They click apply now, they indicate, okay, in specific, I'd like it to be within the business and administration category. I'm going to choose that one. I'm going to click next. I'm going to maybe give a little bit more information of why I'm even applying to this. So I'll type that in and click submit. All right, and now we have, in this case, the local opportunities managers decided that they're going to have a more extended application that they want the student to fill in. So the student could do that, or they could choose to do it later. So that's an example of just how easy it is for a student just to raise their hand and say, hey, I'm interested in something like this. So you as an educator can now get that data and hopefully place that student within a great local opportunity. So I'm going to log out of the student and show you now from an admin point of view what they're seeing from local opportunities. I'll go to manage, I'll go to manage local opportunities. And you'll see that I've got one application pending. And this is the student who just made that application, all right? And we can see a little more if we want to about what that application was all about. We open it up, we see the detail of what they were looking at, and then I can assign it to either myself or somebody else. Once I've done that, it's my job, honestly, to connect them with the local opportunity. We don't have students being able to access company contacts or individuals. We use the educator as a gatekeeper between the student and the local opportunity to help place them and matchmake, if you will. Once they've done that, they can manage the record of that individual student, make sure that as the student is moving along in the process, they're changing the status from being, say, placed all the way to, say, completed a particular opportunity. I'll mark this as complete. So that's really the idea. The idea is that this is a centralized way to manage all the local opportunities that you're placing your student in, and having that high level view of what they're doing. And then on the student side, making it integrated completely within their career readiness journey, allowing them to do those easy applications, and then allowing you to then get in touch with them and place them within the right opportunity. So a more advanced feature, absolutely, but one that we're seeing really gain in popularity as there are a number of districts around the states of Pennsylvania and California that are doing these partnerships and are needing to better organize all of the data that's coming in, from applications to completions to even feedback about those opportunities from both the students and the companies that are working with those students. So that's what this part of the system is designed for, and a really special feature and part of the upgrade. Okay, so we've really gone through the main reasons to think about upgrading the system. One is really easy access. You won't have to worry anymore about kids, losing passwords. They're going to be able to sign in with single sign-on. You're going to get your own URL for your school or district. It's specific to you. No one else is going to be accessing that. So all of your students are under your own management. And with all of the bulk imports that we talked about earlier, bulk importing of students, bulk importing of groups, you'll be able to subdivide them so that your reports are better able to reflect what you need them to reflect for the various reasons that you might do so. So an example might be if you submit for a grant and you're in the world of CTE, well, you don't want to report on every student in the district. You only want to report on your CTE students. And that would be an example of where you might want to use the grouping feature of the upgrade to make that a lot easier for you. Then the next thing we covered was lessons. We talked about the fact that if you've got a requirement in a state like Pennsylvania to build these artifacts and maintain them and track them, et cetera, well, it's nice to have, for one thing, pre-populated lessons that allow those artifacts to be generated. It's also nice to have the ability to customize your lessons, make them your own so that they fit your school, your school's curriculum, et cetera, and assign those. And then in the end, to run reports on everything the students are doing. So a nice advanced feature to allow you to meet requirements both at a state level or a local level and have more organization around your career readiness curriculum. And then finally, we talked about this sort of more advanced concept of local opportunities and local opportunities network, a really wonderful feature if you've got a program in place, you're inundated with student requests to be placed within various opportunities and you're having a hard time organizing it. Well, there's your use case, because we see it all the time. And this allows you to have it all managed under one roof. It's all inside of the system. You're able to run the same kinds of reports you're able to run for regular activity, but now you're running them for activity with those local opportunities, manage application processes, and more. Okay, so these are some really wonderful things about the CareerZone upgrade. We hope you will consider them and think about them. And if you have any questions about what we've shown you today, please feel free to reach out. The contact that you'll be reaching out to is todd@headed2.com. Todd will be happy to help you and make sure that you're able to better understand what we're doing. Let's finish our presentation today with pricing and talk a little bit about how one might go about funding this. So in terms of our upgrade options, we have options for individual educators, which we call the Premium Educator account. That's going to give you as an educator many of these upgrade features, including access to lessons, not the single sign-on, unfortunately, but you will be able to get the lessons, you'll be able to get access to the file management, and you'll be able to manage more students up to 175. So that's for the individual educator. Where we really focused today was in the basic and enhanced upgrade. And these are all the features that we talked about today and the different use cases for why you might want to use them. Our pricing is $3.50 per student with a minimum of $525 contract. So you'll talk to Todd about that and try to figure out what the best option is for you. We do offer multi-year deals with some discounting on that as well. Included with every subscription is an annual training. So our customer success team, you'll have a dedicated customer success manager who will be responsible for your school or district. They'll be the ones conducting the training. They'll also be the ones that you'll be in touch with on a regular basis to make sure that they're able to answer questions that you might have and make sure you're able to have success with the system, okay? So that's really what we're trying to do with the customer success team. And like I said, each upgrade subscriber is from a district or school level is going to have a dedicated customer success manager. Finally, a question you might be asking is, well, how do I go about funding this? And there are obviously a number of answers. There might be some money in your existing budget, but there also is money via Perkins that could be available specifically if you are using the system with CTE students. Perkins 5 would allow for investment in a system like this. If you're in California, the Cta Grants CTE IG grants are also a tried and true way to support this, as again, this is a really great thing to use with CTE students to both make sure that they're finding the right CTE pathway, but also make sure that they have a better chance to complete and be set up for the next step after school. So grants are obviously a great way to try to get access to the system, and that's where the reports come in handy, but also your existing budgets can fund this as well. We're always willing to work with schools or districts who are budget strapped. So please let Todd know your situation, and we'll do everything we can to help get you on if you're interested in the upgrade. Well, we really appreciate you joining us today. If you have any questions, please feel free to email todd@headed2.com. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.